Hey everyone, Dan with Mac Rumors, and in this video we're going to take a look at the all-new OnePlus 6 and compare it to the iPhone 10. Now lately we've been comparing major Android flagship phones to the iPhone 10, like the Pixel 2 XL, Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, etc. And OnePlus has quickly made an impact in the smartphone world during the company's short existence. If you're considering making the switch to Android, the OnePlus 6 might be the easiest transition yet. So OnePlus is definitely influenced by Apple when it comes to the design of its smartphones, and with last year's OnePlus 5T, and now with this year's OnePlus 6, the evidence is pretty clear. The design of the OnePlus 6 is right in line with most phones these days, an all-glass back, dual camera system, and a fingerprint sensor located right underneath. If you flip it over, you'll immediately notice the next major similarity between the iPhone and the OnePlus 6. Yes, this is now the second major phone that we've checked out that has adopted the notch. By including the notch, OnePlus was able to incorporate a 6.2-inch Full HD AMOLED display, which is actually a really good display, and I'm having a hard time remembering that it's not a QHD panel. Now, much like the LG G7 ThinQ that we featured recently, the notch is customizable in the fact that you can hide it if it really bothers you. But like I've mentioned many times before on this channel, it's not a big deal at all. Inside the notch, we don't have a true depth camera system like the iPhone 10, which houses the incredible Face ID technology that Apple uses for mobile authentication, but you do have a face unlock option, which is ridiculously fast. But of course, it's not as secure enough for mobile payments like your fingerprint sensor, so that's what you're going to have to use for payments and passwords. OnePlus was also inspired by Apple's alert slider that you can easily toggle your phone from ringer to vibrate. Now, OnePlus has included this feature in a couple of its phones in the past, so I'm not surprised that this feature is still present, but I'm very surprised that most Android OEMs still haven't adopted this feature as well. I'd argue that this button is far more useful to me than a dedicated assistant button that we've seen on other flagships. Now, in terms of software, we have a near stock Android experience with OnePlus's Oxygen OS layered on top. This is one of the more vanilla Android skins and gives you a pretty true-to-life Android experience. OnePlus is also one of the first phones to adopt the new Android P UI gestures, similar to what Apple introduced in the iPhone 10. If you missed our video on how Google plans to implement these gestures, you can check out our video in the description down below. It is a bit different to how the OnePlus 6 is set up, which follows more in line with the iPhone 10's footsteps. To go home, you give a swipe up from the bottom. To access your recent applications, you swipe and hold near the center, and to go back, you swipe up from the bottom right side of the screen. Now that's the only part of the UI gesture that feels really strange to me. Considering that previous Android phones, back button has been on the left side, swiping from the right side will take some getting used to. Fortunately, this is Android, and if you like the previous navigation buttons, you can always just toggle those back on in the settings menu. If you ever wanted to make the switch from your current iPhone to an Android device, the OnePlus 6 might be one of the easiest transitions out there. The design is very similar, it feels very premium, new UI gestures will help with the possible Android learning curve, and even the cameras are of similar quality. While I think the iPhone 10 has a slight edge in camera quality during certain scenarios, there is no doubt that the OnePlus 6 is capable of taking some really good photos. Obviously, with the inclusion of the second camera on the back, you will get a portrait mode, which is also pretty good. Overall, the OnePlus 6 is a very solid smartphone, equipped with familiar design concepts, fluid software, blazing fast flagship specifications, and an incredible starting price of only $529. I'm not saying you should ditch your iPhone 10 for the OnePlus 6, but if you've been mulling a switch to Android recently, this might be the phone to go with. Let us know what you think of the OnePlus 6 in the comment section down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.